Before I begin, I want you all to imagine something very simple. Not the future, not robots, not flying cars. Imagine a remote control. We use it daily, but right. What if I say we only use it in one direction? We change channels, we adjust volume, we switch modes. But have you ever thought life is actually holding the remote? Not us. And life changes our channel without warning. New technology, new rules, new environments, new expectations. And yet, in all our years of schooling, in all the chapters we memorize, in all the exams we prepare for, no one ever teaches us how to respond when the channel suddenly changes. And that missing skill is adaptability. So the most important skill today is not being the smartest or being the fastest or being the most intelligent. It's being adaptable. Not the ability to change who you are, but the ability to change how you respond. Today, I am Cadet Prithvi, standing over here to explain adaptability in a way you may have never heard before. Firstly, I'll make it clear to you all why I chose this topic, why adaptability. I chose adaptability because I kept noticing something in my very own life, that things change faster than we expect. Plans, people, and even our surroundings. Every time I saw that, adapting quickly made the biggest difference. And then I realized that it is a skill not just for big challenges, but for everyday life. That's why I chose this topic. Firstly, what does adaptability actually mean? Adaptability is not about changing your personality. It's expanding your abilities. It's when you say, I may not know this yet, but I can learn. It's a mindset, not a God-gifted talent. Let us have a look on detailed understandings on adaptability. First, adaptability is not a reaction, it's a design. We all think adaptability means something happens, I adjust. But the true adaptability is the opposite. It's about designing yourself so that you can thrive even when the situation isn't ideal. When your plan fails, when your method flips, when the world upgrades. Adaptability means you don't crash with it. Think about this. A phone that doesn't update becomes slow, but a phone that updates too often becomes unstable. The smartest phones update strategically. So, adaptability is not about reacting to everything, but to know what to keep, what to change, and what to let go. Second, adaptability is not about changing your personality. It's about expanding it. We often hear people say, change yourself to fit into the world. No, you don't need to become someone new. You just need to broaden your abilities. Think about this. A tree doesn't grow into a new plant every season, but it does grow new leaves when required. That's adaptability. You don't need to lose your identity. You add to it. Third, adaptability is a skill behind every other skill. Think about this. Every sport, every subject, and every talent, whether maths or music or martial arts, has one invisible requirement, the ability to adjust. For example, a cricketer adapts to pitch conditions, a gamer adapts to patch updates, and a leader adapts to new circumstances. So my dear friend, adaptability is not another skill. It's the foundation that makes every other skill work. After knowing about adaptability, let us shift our attention to a tiny company unknown to the world, but later on became a big giant recognized by everyone. Yes, the company I'm talking about is Netflix. And let me share a story of Blockbuster versus Netflix, which stood one of the best example of adaptability. So, Blockbuster versus Netflix. Years ago, Blockbuster was the king of movies. 7,000 plus stores, millions of customers. But they had one rule. People must come to their stores to rent movies. Then came Netflix, a tiny startup with a weird idea. What if people could watch movies from home? Blockbuster literally laughed at it. They said, no one will ever stop visiting our stores. They refused to adapt. But Netflix adapted, shifting from DVDs to original shows and later on becoming a global platform. The irony of the story is Blockbuster had a chance to buy Netflix when it had just started. But they ignored it. They said, what can this small company do to our empire? And where is Blockbuster now? Gone. Nowhere to be seen because they didn't adapt. And where is Netflix? Everywhere. The world didn't progress too fast, but the Blockbuster stayed too slow. This is the danger that happens to anyone who refuses to adapt. So, before I go deeper into my topic, I want you all to do something weird. Not visualize, not imagine. Make a phone call. Yes, a call. But not to your parents or your friends. To your brain. Just as we do in our school, dial your roll number and enter the password 1234. If you are intelligent enough, you may have found out that I lied. Yes, there is no real number, my friend. But pretend your brain actually answers. And the moment it answers, ask it one simple question. Bro, can you help me handle change? And here is the funny part. It actually answers. It says, I can help you. But can you stop panicking every time something changes? Yes, and honestly, that's true. We humans freak out even when our Wi-Fi changes from 4G, 5G to 4G. And we get stressed when our teacher changes his period by just one period. So, the brain that stresses is also the brain that adapts. Here is the coolest part about being human. Our brain is the smartest multi-tool ever created. It can freak out and then figure out. It can ignore and then learn. It can freeze for a moment and then say, okay, I got this. This is the importance of brains in adaptability. So with this, let us move on to 3 out-of-box principles of adaptability. First is the Google Maps principle. Google Maps never gets upset when something changes, but it never says, oh no, road closed, I can't handle this anymore. But it simply says recalculating and instantly finds another route. We just need to think like Google Maps. When a plan fails, recalculate. When something blocks you, find another way. When life says road closed, tell no problem. Adaptability is not about finding a perfect route, but it is about being able to find a new one. Second, a folder not file principle. Most of us treat our skills as a file, fixed, rigid, saved ones. But adaptable people treat themselves as a folder, something which can hold many files. Updated versions, new skills and new experiences. A file is limited, but a folder grows. So don't say, I'm only good at this. Try saying, this is just one of the files in my folders and I can add more. And the more files you add, the more adaptable you become. Third, the 90-second neutral zone. Whenever something unexpected happens, people react immediately, panic, stress, frustration. But adaptable people do something else. They don't react immediately. They take 90 seconds break. And this tiny neutral zone gives time to their brain to shift from reacting to thinking. In those 90 seconds, you can ask, what is actually happening? What can I adjust and what's next smart step I can take? This turns chaos into clarity. 90 seconds is the difference between breaking under change and bending with it. So, with this, to give you a better perspective of my next topic, I would like to quote a thought. Unused knowledge is like a closed treasure, valuable yet meaningless. So let us open our treasure and use it. How to build adaptability in daily life. So, how do we actually become more adaptable? I'll keep it simple. Just 4 small habits anyone can practice. First, try one tiny change every day. It could be switching your study spot, trying a new app, or even changing your daily routine. When you practice small changes, big changes stop feeling scary. Second, whenever something unexpected happens, take a 10-second pause. Don't react immediately. Just breathe and ask yourself, what is the next best step I can take? This one question makes your mind clear. Third, always have a plan B. Not a complicated one, but just a backup idea. Knowing you have options gives you confidence. and confidence makes adapting much easier. Finally, stay curious instead of stressed. Instead of asking, why is this happening, try asking, what can it teach me? Curiosity turns problems into possibilities. Instead of asking God, why me? Tell, try me. In conclusion, as I wrap up, remember this. The digital world may reset, the rules of the school may change, and the channel of the life will keep shifting. As long as you can recalculate, you are never truly lost. Change is what happens to us. Adaptability is what happens within us. We cannot survive by fighting a storm, but by learning how to adjust our sails. I'll conclude my talk with a line often inspired by Charles Darwin's theory. It says, it is not the strongest or the most intelligent who survive, but the ones most adaptable to the change. With this, I conclude my talk. Thank you.